It is the final round of Suzuki Superboat. In round one, it was Hammer Time, Kelly and Leighton Manel. In round two, it was the quad rotor Mazda of Peter and Gary Hose. Set the tongues are wagging. Round three at Mary Mary, Leighton Manel came back to retake the championship lead, but it wasn't all done with yet. In round four, Manel was too good for them again, and then in round five under lights at Wanganui, it was Duncan Wilson who'd been battling mechanical DNFs, but you see there, his consistent performances have still got him in second place. Leighton Manel has got the slightest advantage in the points from Wilson, and what about Nick Berryman, Mr. Consistency in Suzuki Superboat? Making his debut in Suzuki Superboat, a man that knows more about three wheels than most, is many-time New Zealand sidecar champion Steve Braun. This is a new venture for him. A new boat, new engine combination.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, definitely. It's definitely got exhilarating factor for sure. So we'll just see how... we only get one meeting this year. So yeah, let's see how we go and progress, and we'll definitely be running one full-time next year as well. So yeah, that should be quite cool.
So this is the first run for Stevie Braun in the Jet Pro New Zealand Jet Sprinting Championship Suzuki Superboat, and you can understand how he would be a little bit cautious. In fact, he goes wrong at Featherston, good enough for 9th place. In 8th place, another one that went wrong after a spectacular late season run was Rob Coley, nearly drowning himself and co-driver in the deep end here at Featherston. He finished 8th. We've seen drama in Scott Wood Jet Group A here at Featherston, and we're about to see drama in Suzuki Superboat as well, because you're on board here with Lethal Injection, Duncan Wilson, and that is the shortest run in jet sprinting history. He would end up finishing 7th. Real drama here for the boy from Wanganui.
Around that top corner, just let go and decided to turn itself off, so made a little bit of a shuddering noise and then shut down, so yeah.
So we've found our top 8 in Suzuki Superboat, and on top it is the championship elect Leighton Manel and Hammer Time with that 59.65. Chris Munro making the trip from the deep south once again in second with the 51.39, and then it's the Marshal Pat Dillon in the PPG Hulk. Well, Peter Hose had his problems under the lights at Wanganui, but all was in readiness for a storming season finale for the ex-Speedway man from Wanganui.
I'm really happy the way it's been going this year. A few little hiccups, but we've come a long way. May have turned to our favour last meeting in Wanganui. We blew the jet unit. So we've put one in there now, and it's a totally different boat. Totally different. It drives differently, it's got different blade combination, and it's really, really fast. And a little bit harder to steer at the moment, so I've got to get that under control. But I think we're on the up and up. It's looking good for next year.
It has been a steep learning curve for the Ginza Bargains quad rotor jet sprint boat of Peter Hose. Certainly has turned a few heads and a few ears with this distinctive sound of this essentially Mazda-powered machine.
Very cool combination, and yeah, just coming back from some jet unit problems at the previous round under lights in Wanganui, which cost them some points, and just going back to the demise of Duncan Wilson, he should still have enough points up his sleeve with that drop worst round to probably take second overall, but Nick Berryman still maybe with a chance to get into second if he could probably win this weekend. 28-29, the split for Peter Hose.
Oh, just a little bit rugged coming out of that big sweeping corner at the top end of the circuit. But I suppose he doesn't have to show all his good stuff just yet. He just needs to make the next elimination. And listen to that quad rotor scream.
Continuing development here. Their best has been a 54.87 setback in the fourth qualifying session as well.
Oh, I think he's going to go quicker here. He does. 53.941 for Hose. Brent White, Kiwi battler, is next to go. He had his dramas in the season, mechanical issues, and then that big crash, of course, in Gisborne. He's recovered from that. They say that he's the most experienced combination on the water, and they tell me that their combined ages are well over the 150 mark, but I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I don't know that Brent will be too happy with you telling the world that, Phil, but hey, Kiwi Battler's the name on the side of the boat. Haven't these guys battled throughout the championship? Good effort here to make the top 8 and maybe looking to go further through these rounds if they can keep this thing on the water. Split coming up for Kiwi Battler, 28.59. He's about 3/10 down on Peter Hose's previous run.
And just having a look at that shot, look at the way it's just sort of skipping over the top of the water, so maybe a slight handling issue there. You'd think with the combined weights of Morris and also Brent, there'd be enough to keep the boat flat on the water, but maybe not. The Donovan working overtime, 800 odd horsepower sitting in the back of these two.
Pretty tidy run, though, you got to say, Phil, as he brings it to the line. This should be his quickest run of the day.
It will be. It'll be a 54.832 for Brent White. A good run.
That's a big improvement for Brent White, but there's problems here afterwards.
Oh, there's more. He can't get it stopped. He's in the car park. He's overpaid his $5.
Well, what a moment there for Brent White after such a good run.
There's the culprit. That was the cover that goes over the distributor, and that came off and went down the rear stack, and it kept the throttle wide open for us here. And but I'm used to it. It's happened before. We had that at Gisborne. No, it was at Napier. Yeah.
You're pretty lucky it didn't happen on a lot faster part of the racetrack.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, but apparently we finished the round.
Yes.
And I think we put up a pretty our best time of the day. I think.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that the problem at Hastings was actually the radio intercom cord that got caught in one of the stacks in the injection. Wow, what a heart-stopping moment for Morris Edwards and Brent White. Let's get back into the action. Here is Nick and Rochelle Berryman, and they are the most consistent couple in Suzuki Superboat. They've been there or thereabouts. They've had their dramas, but gee whiz, I reckon they're going to come up with a pretty good finish in this series.
Well, they got an opportunity to maybe get into second with problems for Duncan Wilson, but I've got to go back to that previous run with Brent White, Phil. I can't believe you asked if he paid his $5 to get in the car park.
Well, technically, he didn't quite get in the car park, did he? I bet the bloke with the Toyota was a bit worried.
He wasn't far away. 29.30 is the split for Nick Berryman, so he's about 7/10 down on what we've just seen from the likes of Peter Host and Brent White.
And I tell you what, Jamie, the one thing about Nick Berryman, even when the chips are down, he's always got a grin on the face. He loves this, and his wife doing a fantastic job in the navigator's seat.
And they have done a great job this season, bringing it home to the finish line. Still a little bit of work to do, but I think they want to put this on the trailer and not in the car park like Whitey did. 56 flat for Berryman.
Chris Munro and Brent Scammell come out now, and you have a look at the graphics on the screen. They are G meters. The one on the left-hand side is acceleration, and the line along the bottom is left and right G forces and cornering.
And it's not going to last long. He's got problems.
I think he's beaten Duncan Wilson in the shortest Jetsprint run we've seen here at Featherston.
Munro having dramas.
For the man from the South Island, gee, it's a long way to come.
What happened?
We don't know yet. We haven't had time to have a decent look at it, but there, something's let go, and there.
Serious?
Well, have a look at it, I'll tell you. Sounds serious.
So this is Leighton and Kelly Manel. The boat is Hummertime, and just have a look at that shot. That's shipping, 30,000 litres about a minute out of the back of the jet unit of Hummertime.
Yeah, great way to empty a swimming pool, I can tell you that. An expensive way to do it, though. Well, Leighton's been the pace setter throughout the day, a 50.9 in the top 12 run, and basically just needs to get to the top 3 in the final to win his first Suzuki New Zealand Superboat Championship.
And I think Leighton will tell you the hardest thing for him is to temper the aggression, certainly on the throttle side. You see there, he just gets a little bit too close to the island, but the power of Hummertime just gets him out of trouble. All he needs to do is just get a finish in the final, and he'll have that coveted #1 plate. He doesn't need to set the world on fire, but Leighton Manel doesn't think like that.
It was a quick split, though, at 26.41 as he's going to bring it home, and that corner you spoke about has caught many victims out over the years. 50.489 for Leighton Manel. That's quick.
Engine dramas for Pat Dillon and Steve Edmonds under lights in Wanganui means that they will be in Kiwi Battler, which is the boat of Brent White. Isn't Brent White a great bloke? He lent Duncan Wilson this boat last round in Hastings, and now he's lent it to Pat Dillon.
It's a good little package that Brent's got here. I set the bottom up for him, so I sort of thought when he said he offered me the drive, I thought, well, it's the same as mine. It shouldn't do anything silly, so I thought, well, out of any boat to jump into, it's probably a safe bet.
And of course, this keeps the championship hopes alive for Pat Dillon. But it's sacrilege, Jamie. A Ford man in a Chevy, he'll never live that down.
Yeah, I'm sure he's been getting ribbed about it all weekend. But I tell you what, he's had this boat going pretty good. Their quickest to date's been a 52.3 in the third qualifying session, and he was less than 2 seconds slower than Leighton Manel. So hey, anything's possible.
Well, luckily for Pat, there wasn't too much damage when Kiwi Battler took to the car park, so it's back in one piece. Let's compare the time. So it might be a bit of a lesson from the sidelines for Brent White here, just to see how fast this boat can go.
27.09 for Pat Dillon, so he's about 6/10 down on Leighton Manel's previous best, which was the fastest run of the day at a 50.489.
Whitey split time for the same run at 28.59.
Tell you what Pat won't be used to is the lack of a supercharger whine behind his ears right about now. He's going to bring it to the line.
52.402 for Pat Dillon in Brent White's Kiwi battler. So Pat Dillon keeps everything under control with that 52.402, makes him second as we go from 8 to just 5. Third place is Peter Host, and in fourth place it is Brent White. Fifth place, Nick Berryman. The man to miss out is Dick South's Chris Munro. Nick Berryman and his wife Rochelle getting set to go here in Riverjet. Now these guys are on target again to maybe make the final here at Featherston. And that would cap off what has been a pretty good season. A bit of a learning curve for them because they've certainly found some speed that they were lacking last year. But it's been a good season just the same, save for the bit of starter motor drama they had a couple of rounds ago.
Yeah, well, this combination again, looking for that third and final podium. Duncan Wilson may just have enough points up his sleeve with the drop round, but if I tell you what, if the Berrymans could get through and win this, and anything's possible, they could still maybe get up to second. 28.61 the split for the Berrymans, and that's a big improvement on their previous best. They did a 29.3 last time out, so that's a stunning first half of the lap.
Well, whoever is engineering their boat has found a little bit, maybe changed some vanes in the jet unit. They've found a little bit more extra oomph out of it. This is going to be a good run for Nick and Rochelle. They head down towards the finish line now. What are we going to see? A 54-second run? We do, but only just. 54.988.
First season in Superboat, we've finished in the top 5 every run. And yeah, the boat's just gone like a dream, and we'll be back next year and hopefully another couple of hundred horsepower.
A couple of hundred horsepower. Maybe he doesn't need quite that much, but any more power he can get out of the boat will be to his good. This guy, well, he's not looking for more power. He's looking for a bit of direction and maybe not a stuck throttle. This is Brent White and Morris Edwards.
Oh, big lift there, just making that run down to that left-hander. A great job there from Nick Berryman. That was their fastest lap of the weekend at a 54.9. So again, they're doing the right stuff at the right end of the weekend. Brent White, again, just another little lift there. He's just not happy with the way the boat's maybe sitting on the water.
I think he's probably counting his chickens that he didn't really do a lot of damage when he put it in the car park at the last round. And maybe that's just tinged his, his expectations, his confidence just a little bit.
If you had to pay his $5 to get into the car park, has he got a stamp to get out?
Let's hope he doesn't have to get out again.
28.59 was his previous best split. He just did a 28.6, so he's only 1/100th of a second slower. He's bringing it to the line. Brent White looking to go through to the final. 54.956. It's close between them and the Berrymans.
So Brent White, get a shot of this, goes to the top of the table here with that 54.956. The Berrymans second. Peter Host still to come.
And the gap between the Berrymans and the White boat was just 3/100ths of a second. It's that close.
Well, we've seen that so many times in both the classes we cover, the Scott Waterjet Group A and the Suzuki Superboat. It comes down to just tenths, just 100ths, and in some cases, 1,000ths of a second.
Well, this boat has been in the high 53, so they've got pace. A moment there, though.
A big moment there. In fact, there'll be a few people on the sideline scratching their heads thinking, how did they save that?
Must have cost them some time. 28.81 at the split, and he's 0.2 of a second slower than Brent White.
Just caught the edge of the island there, coming around that sweeper as well, so this time's going to blow out just a little bit here. Peter Host from Wanganui looking to run around about the 53s, I would think he'd be happy with.
Former New Zealand three-quarter midget champ and sprint car racer. It's definitely cost him some time. He's out beyond the 54, 55.
Oh, that's bad news for Peter Host, and that means that Brent White stays at the top. Berryman in second, nothing in it between those two, but with the fast boys still to come, you get the feeling that the time at the top is going to be limited. This is Leighton Manel, had all sorts of problems under the lights at Wanganui. Can you believe it? The steering column broke.
Now, Peter Host with that 55.0, he was only half a tenth slower than Brent White, so half a tenth covering those first three boats in the top 5 of Suzuki Superboat.
Close racing is what it's all about here at the finals in Featherston, just adjacent to the Tauhara Nico racecourse here in the Wairarapa.
26.
Oh, come on. Leighton, you don't have to go that fast.
Well, he was 4/10 quicker than his previous best run in the top 8, so Leighton is on a charge here.
Well, we've said it before, he doesn't need to go this fast. He just needs to finish this run and get inside the top 3 to clinch that championship.
Yeah, Leighton only knows one way, and that's spectacular. And how about that, a 50.289, the fastest run again of the day.
So Leighton Manel, the champion in Suzuki Superboat.
You got in the top 3, so that means that you are NZ1.
Absolutely stoked with that, mate. It's been a long day, bit of challenging. The old girl's, had one of those days that's been on and off.
That's the boat he's talking about.
Yeah, not that old girl. But no, it's been sensational. Shame Dunkey wasn't here. I was really looking forward to a good battle with him. So, hopefully we can continue that next year. But next job's winning this one, obviously. And I need a good bit of cloud cover because I couldn't see very well out there then. So I'd really like to get that 49 in the final. And let's see where we go.
Well, remember that Pat Dillon is double driving Brent White's boat, so Pat Dillon on the water here. You're riding with the best seat in the house. And look at the times, 53.2, 52.4. Been a little bit quicker than Whitey.
Well, he needs to go quicker than a 54.9 with the Berrymans now sitting on the bubble. Peter Host was eliminated with that run from Leighton Manel, of course, tying up the championship.
Nick Berryman will be watching this. He'd hate to think all his good work of the season is going to be undone by Pat Dillon in a Chevy. Can you believe it? Pat Dillon is the most fiercest of Ford fanatics, and he's driving a Chevy. Well, to give him his due, he's driving a Donovan.
27.05, so he's 400ths quicker than his previous best split in the top 8. Just doesn't sound right without that supercharger whine.
No, exactly right. See, the split from Berryman was a 28.60, so Nick starting to chew the nails down to the elbow here as we ride down to the finish line. 52.636. He eliminates Nick Berryman, and Pat Dillon goes second in Suzuki Superboat behind that otherworldly 50.2 from Leighton Manel. And more good news, Brent White makes his first Suzuki Superboat final. We have got one round of racing to go here at Featherstone. It is the 6th and final round of Suzuki Superboat as part of the Jet Pro New Zealand Jet Sprinting Championship. And Brent White and Morris Edwards. Morris Edwards, a past New Zealand Lights champion. Brent White, a long-time supporter of the sport. They make their first final here at the last round of the series.
Yeah, Brent White, the gentle giant. What a day they've had. They've lent their boat to Pat Dillon. Both of them have made the final. These boys have been out in the car park, quite literally. It's been an eventful weekend for Kiwi Battler.
It sure has, and they've been consistent too. They've been around that 28.5, 29 second mark at the split, and that's all you can ask for.
28.6 was their previous best, 28.65, so he's only lost 5/100ths of a second. He's trying hard though.
And you just look at that outside shot, and Brent almost looks too big for that boat, doesn't he? He's cramped up in the seat there, got a good grasp of the wheel though. Of course, in the back of his mind, he wants to keep it back in one piece so he can give it to Pat Dillon a little bit later on. Yeah. Morris Edwards just doing the directions. Well done to Morris, well done to Brent.
Yeah, Brent's a big boy. There's not too many sharp edges on him.
And they nearly come out of the water there, but the Donovan power gets them through it. 55.111 for Kiwi Battler. Well, no, don't rub your eyes and thinking you're seeing things. You're seeing that boat again. This time it is at the hands of the Ford man, Pat Dillon. Steve Edmonds is his navigator. Brent White, Mr. Sportsmanship, lent the boat to Duncan Wilson at around a couple of rounds ago in Hastings, and now here he does the same thing again with Pat Dillon.
Yeah, fantastic sportsmanship. And just looking at Brent White's last 3 runs, 54.8, 54.9, 55.1. How's that for consistency?
And that's what it takes. What are we going to see here from Pat Dillon?
He's been in the 27s for the splits, 27.10. So again, he's 500ths of a second slower than his previous best, but lost a lot of time there on that corner that catches so many out here at Featherstone.
Exactly right, and that would have put the heart in the mouth for Brent White. He thought Kiwi Battler was maybe coming up into the pits. Pat Dillon in an unaccustomed boat, although he did say before it's a white pointer, it's a stinger hull, so he kind of knows what's going on in the water. Probably not used to the power difference as we said before, but a 52.883, bit untidy, but it gets the job done, and he goes to the top with Leighton Manel still to come. Well, this is the man. He's wrapped up the championship and he's fought long and hard for that. He thought it was going to be an easier road than it was last season. It didn't turn out that way. Richard Burt took another Suzuki Superboat title. No Richard Burt this year, but no taking it away from the efforts of Kelly, of Leighton, of all the team. Certainly his engine builder's been working overtime to get the boat back in pristine shape. And here, can he end the day on a high note, just as we saw in Saltwater Jet Group A with Red Smith. Can Leighton Manel take all the apples here at Featherston?
500 cubic inches of injected V8 running in the Sprint-Ek hull. Better run there than Pat Dillon through that tighter corner. The split was a 26.19. And it's about a tenth slower than what he did in the top 5. So he's certainly on the money here.
Well, he did a 50.2 in the 5. Are we going to see an improvement on that? Oh, gets just a little bit untidy there. That's when you see Kelly get a little bit agitated. Down to the finish line, 50.1. He does go faster. He goes fastest of the day. He wins Suzuki Superboat. And if there was any doubt about it, he clinches the national title as well.
Well, your day just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, mate. A little bit gutted I didn't get me 49, but I can't have everything. No, Kel's done an awesome job. Team's been fantastic. Boat's been brilliant all season, so steering held together all day today. Bloody great way to finish, and look forward to the Worlds, and next year it's going to be all on, you can see that.
So if we have a look at the wrap-up of the day on Suzuki Superboat, Leighton Manel is the champion. Duncan Wilson, even though he had a terrible day, holds on to second place from Nick Berryman. Fourth place is Pat Dillon, and in fifth is the new boy in Suzuki Superboat, that is Peter Hose. Sixth is Rob Coley, and in seventh, Brent White. Well, if you can't get enough of jet sprinting, I can tell you the good news is we'll be back in 2012, including a proposed new World Championship. Keep watching, and if you want more information, go to the JetPro website, www.jetpro.co.nz.